I'm so excited to be here hosting today's episode. Today is a really special day. It happens to be my mom's birthday. Today she turns 80 years old. I love her, she means the world to me, and I appreciate her and everything that she does, so happy birthday, Mom. Today I'm going to be showing you this lovely pastel watercolor cake using buttercream. It's really super easy, and honestly, you cannot mess this up. This cake is sure to sweeten any celebration. Before we get started, you want to make sure that you are following us on Facebook so that way you can always be notified every time we go live. And we'd love to hear from you guys, so leave us a comment and let us know where you're tuning in from. So you'll be able to find the supplies and instructions, everything that you'll need for this project on our website. Today I'm going to be starting with a 6-inch cake, and it's about 5 inches tall. And I baked 2 layers of cake in this 3-inch high cake pan. And then I leveled each cake to about 2.5 inches high. This technique though will work on any size cake and any shape cake. I also went ahead and crumb coated my cake. And to crumb coat it, I just used our white creamy icing. It's in our 4-pound bucket. And it's about a medium consistency. It's perfect for icing cake, but if you have a favorite recipe, that'll work fine too. And I also have all of my colors tinted. They're all pastel colors. And I tinted about a half a cup of icing for each color. And I'll go ahead and let you know which color I'm using as I start applying it to the cake. You'll also want to make sure that you have a turntable. It'll make icing this cake a lot easier. And then our icing smoother is a great tool to have, and then a spatula. Okay, so let's get started.
People are tuning in from all over, saying hello.
Hi. All right, so again, I'm just going to be picking up some icing with my spatula. And this first color that I'm starting with is orange. And I added a little bit of red just to kind of take out some of the brightness. And I am just adding swatches or dabs of icing randomly. There is really no rhyme or reason of how I'm adding it. We're just going to go ahead and cover a whole cake with swipes of icing. And if you are just tuning in, we are making a pastel watercolor cake using buttercream. And this cake is really, really easy. This technique works well for a beginner cake decorator. You don't have to use these specific colors. You can use any color combination, any amount of colors. You just want to have at least 2 different colors.
We've got some birthday wishes for your mom.
Aw, thank you. Happy birthday. My mom is such a special lady. She honestly does so much for me. And then when we are switching colors, you just want to make sure that we clean our spatula off good before we add our next color. So this next color that I'm adding is violet, and I added just a tiny bit of rose to our violet, just to kind of brighten the violet color up a little bit. And again, just random splotches of icing. And then this turntable that I'm using is a really nice turntable. It has a non-slip surface. You can't really see because it's covered with a cake board right now. But it also is adjustable, so you can raise it and lower it, and it also has a feature where it locks in place. So just keep adding your swipes of color all over your cake. And then we're going to switch. And then this next color, this blue, is just our royal blue.
And this is, what kind of icing are you using?
So the icing that I'm using is the icing from our 4-pound container of icing. It's the creamy white decorator icing, and it has about a medium consistency. So it is honestly perfect for icing cakes smooth, and it's also great for piping borders And then if you need to pipe stiffer flowers with it, you can just add a little bit of powdered sugar, a little bit of cornstarch to it. And this color is just our rose icing color. And to this I add just the smallest amount of royal blue, just to kind of mute and take some of the brightness out of the rose. And our gel colors are really concentrated, so for these pastel colors, you really don't need a whole lot of icing. Just kind of dab your toothpick in the icing and then just swipe it in your icing. If you have a technique that you would like to see featured on a future episode, go ahead and leave that in the comments. Future technique or something, a project that we've done on our website that you'd like to see featured. And this next color is just Kelly green, but again to this I added just the smallest amount of royal blue.
Was this after the crumb coat or the second crumb coat?
I only crumb coated it once, so I did, my crumb coat is a little bit heavier.
And if we're making a smaller cake, do we still need half a cup per?
No, you probably, a half a cup is probably a lot of icing even for this size cake. So I would probably say if you're making all 6 colors, you know, for anything smaller, a quarter cup will be probably plenty.
Do you think this would work on a cupcake?
I think if you're doing a cupcake, you'll probably want to stripe your bag and get the watercolor effect that way. And I'm going to show you how to stripe your bag and pipe with that after we're done icing this cake.
How many layers is this cake?
This is only 2 layers. Each layer is about 2.5 inches tall. And then I use a tip 1A to pipe my filling. And I use the same medium consistency to fill my cake as well. So we're just going to kind of keep going in there and filling in as many spots as we can with our icing.
People still tuning in from all over. Hello from Brazil.
Hello, thank you so much for tuning in today, guys.
How many servings do you think this cake will do?
I think for a 6-inch cake serves about 12 people. You can probably get a few more depending on how thin you slice it. And this is a little bit of a taller cake, so you can probably get maybe 14 slices out of it. I think that is looking pretty good.
If you keep it like that, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of fun like that. You can definitely leave it like this. I think it looks great. But we're gonna go ahead and smooth it out, and we're gonna use our cake smoother. And just kind of try and line your cake smoother up so it's straight up and down along the side of your cake. And then just rotate your turntable. And hopefully that looks okay. All the colors will blend together really nicely. And then you'll notice that we'll still have some empty spots and some spots where we'll have some air bubbles that popped up. And we'll just keep filling those in. And then whenever you are done with your cake smoother before you use that again, you also want to make sure that you wipe that off good. And then when I go over the top, I'm just using my angled spatula on the top and just kind of use my turntable and turn that around. And then we'll go ahead and fill in some of these empty spots. Again, if you are just tuning in, we are making this watercolor buttercream cake. And I have a variety of pastel colors. And this cake is really, really easy.
So if you were to write a message on this cake, what color would you use?
I think if I were going to write a message, I would probably use white icing, or maybe I would even go with a blue, but make it a little bit darker so it stood out more. Or any of the colors if you make them darker so they stand out a little bit more. And if you have a spot where you really want a color to be more vibrant or show a little bit more, you can just go ahead and add that color heavier in that spot. And then this bowl that I have here is just an empty bowl just to kind of keep scraping off my spatula. You can also add sprinkles to the edge of this cake. That'll be really, really pretty with some like white nonpareils. Let's go ahead and smooth this again. And this cake will even look really, really nice if you don't have a cake smoother and you decide to just use your spatula. Leaving spatula marks in this cake is really, really pretty. Still have a few spots, but I think that's looking pretty good. So let me just clean up the top. And then if you have your cake and you want to get that sharp edge on top, what you do is you take your icing and just kind of drag that over. So pick it up from the top and then just kind of lift your spatula up and over. That'll kind of create that sharp corner. The colors on this cake blend together and work together so nice. It's really, really pretty. If you are using a recipe and your recipe has butter in it, you're having a hard time getting your cake to smooth out, you can warm your spatula or your cake smoother under some warm running water and then just dry it off, and the warmness will kind of smooth out the butter as well. Okay. So to finish this off, I'm gonna pipe a spiral border, but you can finish your cake off with any kind of border. You can pipe stars, you can pipe shells, you can cover the top with rosettes. and I'm going to show you how to stripe a bag. So I have a 16-inch bag, and I have it fitted with a tip 1M, which is an open star. And I like the 16-inch bag for this kind of border, so that way I can try and get the whole border done with filling my bag only the one time. So I'm just going to pick up my icing with a spatula, and then I'm just going to kind of try and draw just one stripe of each color. And our decorating bags are marked with a dotted line that kind of give you a guide on where to fill your bag to, which is really, really helpful, so you don't ever have to worry about overfilling your bag. And your colors will all kind of blend together, so don't worry if the inside of your bag kind of gets a little messy. We kind of want those colors to blend together. That's part of what makes it so pretty.
Do you use warm water when you're smoothing the cake?
If I'm using a recipe that has butter in it, I definitely will use warm water. But for the bucket of icing, I find that it's smooth enough that I don't really need to use warm water. This striped bag technique is probably one of my favorite techniques. I love the way the striped bag, all the colors kind of blend together. It's always so pretty. One more. Again, let us know where you're tuning in from, and let us know if there is a technique that you'd like us to feature on a future episode.
We've got people tuning in from all over the world saying hello.
Hello. I'm so happy everyone's able to tune in today. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fill the rest of my bag up with this blue icing. And you have your bag all full with a little bit of icing on my finger. Just go ahead and give that a twist. You can kind of see all the colors in there. It already looks pretty. And then to pipe this spiral border, all you're going to be doing is piping in a circular motion, just kind of like that. And if you can hold your bag with one hand, so that way you can rotate your turntable, that way you won't have to worry about rotating your cake. And you're going to start with your tip close to your cake, and you're holding your bag at an angle, and then just go ahead and start piping that circular motion. And all those colors are kind of showing up. Really ties the whole cake together and looks really, really pretty. And if you do need to take a break, or if you run out of icing out of your bag, you just want to make sure that when you stop piping when you are at the downward position. So I would stop about there. And then when I restart, I'm just going to try and kind of match that up. And then just keep piping. And really, no one will even know that you had to stop there. All the colors blend together, and the star tips work really, really well for this technique.
This would be awesome for a unicorn cake.
Yeah, for sure it's pretty good. You can even just add, I think we have this unicorn kit where it's the horn and a couple of ears. Go ahead and add that to the top of the cake. It'd be really pretty. And when you get to the end, you're just going to try and kind of tuck the tail under. There you have it. That's perfect. So now to finish this cake off for a birthday, you can pipe a message or finish it off with some candles, and it'll be great. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you missed the beginning or any part of this video, you can always go back and rewatch it on our Facebook page. I always have such a great time hosting these episodes, and I had such a great time sharing this watercolor technique with you. If you decide to try this technique, please share your photo or be sure and tag us.